Have you ever considered that the greatest stories are not just told, they are woven into the very fabric of destiny? What if the tale of the world's most celebrated footballer was not merely one of talent and hard work, but a far more intricate, almost mystical narrative? What if Lionel Messi's journey was preordained, a celestial event disguised as a sporting career? Today, we journey beyond the headlines, beyond the goals and the trophies. We venture into a realm where history, esotericism, and open-ended questions converge. We're not just talking about a boy from Rosario who overcame a growth hormone deficiency. We're exploring the idea of a prodigy whose physical limitations were not a hurdle, but a crucible, a necessary element in a grand cosmic design. Let's begin with the known facts, the solid ground upon which this legend is built. Born in 1987 pulgadas, Rosario, Argentina, Lionel Andrés Messi displayed an otherworldly connection to the football from an age when most children are still mastering the art of walking. His grandmother, Celia, was his first believer, urging a local coach to let the tiny boy play with the older kids. The coach was hesitant. "He's too small," he said, a phrase that would echo throughout Messi's early life, a constant refrain against his burgeoning genius. At age 10, the hammer blow fell. Messi was diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency. His body wasn't producing enough of the hormone needed for him to reach a normal height. The treatment was expensive, around $1,000 a month, a sum far beyond the means of his working-class family. Local clubs, including the powerhouse River Plate, acknowledged his talent but balked at the cost of his medical bills. The dream, it seemed, was destined to remain small, just like the boy himself. This is the conventional turning point of the story, the moment where FC Barcelona, an ocean away in Spain, enters the narrative. After a trial, the club's technical secretary, Carlos Rexach, was so mesmerized that, with no official paper at hand, he famously drew up Messi's first contract on a napkin. Barcelona agreed to cover the costs of his treatment. The rest, as they say, is history. Messi grew, not just in stature, but into a giant of the game. This is the 40% of our story grounded in historical fact. A compelling tale of overcoming adversity. But what if this is just the surface? What if we are missing the deeper, more profound currents at play? Let us now step into the realm of esoteric analysis. In many ancient traditions and mystical schools of thought, physical trials are not seen as mere misfortunes. They are viewed as catalysts for spiritual or energetic development. Consider the concept of the wounded healer, an archetype found across cultures. It is the individual who, through their own suffering and limitation, unlocks a deeper power, a more profound empathy, and a unique ability to influence the world around them. Could Messi's growth deficiency be interpreted through this lens? Was this smallness not a weakness, but a mechanism, a way to force the development of other, more subtle senses? When you can't rely on physical size and strength, you must cultivate something else. You must develop an almost supernatural awareness of space, a preternatural sense of timing, an intuitive understanding of the geometry of the game. His low center of gravity, a direct result of his smaller stature, became his greatest physical asset. It allowed him to turn and accelerate with a speed and agility that seemed to defy physics. He wasn't just running, he was flowing. He didn't just dribble past defenders, he seemed to phase through them. His movements, a symphony of micro-adjustments and instantaneous calculations that no larger, more conventional athlete could replicate. Was his body, therefore, being sculpted by a force beyond medicine? Was the limitation a cosmic directive to force him to evolve a different kind of mastery, to become not just a great player, but an artist who painted with his feet, his mind operating on a frequency others couldn't perceive? The ball became an extension of his will, not through force, but through a sublime, almost telepathic connection. This isn't about dismissing the grueling work, the disciplined, the thousands of hours of practice. That is the earthly component of the equation. But we are exploring the possibility of a celestial component, the idea that certain individuals are born with a specific destiny, and their life's challenges are the very tools needed to fulfill it. The prophecy wasn't that a great player would emerge from Argentina. Perhaps the prophecy was that a player of a *specific, *energetic signature was required, and the growth deficiency was the alchemical process to create him. This brings us to our final, most speculative layer, the open hypotheses. This is where we invite you to question, to debate, to wonder. Hypothesis 1. The napkin contract as a symbolic act. In esoteric lore, pacts and agreements hold immense power. Was the signing on a humble napkin, an object of little material worth, a symbol that this agreement was not about money or conventional power, but about faith, a simple, almost rustic acknowledgement of a destiny that was already written? It wasn't a corporate transaction. It was an acceptance of a prodigy, a recognition of a force of nature. Hypothesis 2. Messi as a system breaker. Consider the era in which he emerged. Football was becoming increasingly physical, dominated by athletes of supreme size and power. Messi's arrival was a complete paradigm shift. He demonstrated that technique, intelligence, and a unique form of physical expression could not only compete with, but utterly dominate brute force. Was his purpose, on a grander scale, to rebalance the sport, to remind the world of the art and magic inherent in the beautiful game, pulling it back from the brink of becoming a pure contest of physicality? Was he an evolutionary course correction for football itself? Hypothesis 3. The collective consciousness. Could Messi's story be a modern myth that we, as a global society, needed in a world that often feels chaotic and unjust? The story of the small boy who was told he couldn't, who overcame a physical limitation to become the greatest, resonates on a deeply archetypal level. It's the David and Goliath story retold for the 21st century. Perhaps his success is so mesmerizing because we are collectively projecting our own hopes and desires for justice and the triumph of the underdog onto him. Is he a hero because of who he is, or because of who we need him to be? These are not claims of fact. They are invitations to think differently, to look at a story you think you know and see the hidden patterns, the subtle energies, the mystical possibilities that lie just beneath the surface. The boy who was told he was too small did not just grow, expanded. He transcended physical limitations to redefine the boundaries of his sport and, in doing so, created a legend that feels less like a biography and more like a sacred text. What do you think? Was Messi's journey a simple case of talent meeting opportunity, Or was there a deeper, more mysterious force at play? Was his limitation a curse? Or was it the very key that unlocked his unparalleled genius? Share your theories, your agreements, and your disagreements in the comments below. Let's explore the hidden dimensions of this incredible story together. If this journey into the mystical side of the beautiful game intrigued you, make sure to like this video. Share it with someone who appreciates a deeper perspective, and subscribe for more explorations into the stories behind the legends. Thank you for watching.